just not as
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah, like I said, like going into every show, of course, or every prep, I should say, of course, you want to, at the end of that prep, bring the best package or a better package than your previous prep. And considering I've only done this for less than a year, I'm just like excited and shocked that I'm even a pro at this point. I've only been competing since February. So I know, for example, like I'm very humble about this process. I know there's tons of things I can improve on. And I never go in thinking that I look the best in any scenario. I want to look my best, and I always tell people like it's you versus you. Yeah, I'm going against other women on stage, but ultimately, this whole prep, I never compared myself to anyone else I was competing against. I always was like, okay, what did I look like a week ago? Do I look better now? Do I look better from 3 weeks ago? I never compared myself to anyone until we got on stage, and it was like in the prelim of it all where we're comparing to see who's going to win. That's the only time I ever compare myself against someone, because your goal should always be to be able to beat yourself, beat the package you had before. When you start incorporating, oh, I saw this girl on Instagram 2 days ago, she looks ripped, I'm not going to win. That messes up your whole mental. And I've always been the type, like, you always think you're the best. In your head, I'm the best. I'm going to beat the package I had before. I'm going to beat myself. And that's just how I am. And I know there's always going to be someone who looks better than you. There's always going to be someone who's better than you at something. But as long as you give your all and you know that you can do whatever you can and do the best you can, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's like you have to be focused on what you work on within your strengths. You can't
Yes.
always do somebody. And I'll say like family's always going to have like, okay, this is Shannon's your sister.
Yeah, that's my older sister. Yeah,
Yeah,
like my
yeah, yeah.
legit same mom. Yeah.
Yeah, same on. Yeah, like I know my mother. I have like technically there should have been 9 of us, but a few of us, like I have a couple of siblings passed away, and I have 2 older sisters, and I know how this is about family. Sometimes you just fight among the family. It's like yeah, but hey, we somebody try to come in the family, hey, we go together. We go hands. We're like slap hands. But we got here from he's a fan. And you got to get his name. This is other man, balls deep. He comes in. I know it's a crazy. He says, "Good morning, gorgeous," and I think he's from your neck of wood because he says Chicago in here. So we got two people in
Yeah.
Chicago. Shout out balls deep.
Chicago.
And also he says, balls. He says, smash that like button. Peace and blessings, beautiful. And he says, what up to and salute to George in the chat. Thank you, balls deep. And we appreciate your comments, brother. And like I said, it's like the episode of when Charlie met Prince and he met Nikki free and said, "Hey, Sharma got a new girl. She finds a motherfucker." That's how when I get girls when I get some new girls in here, they act like we know Nikki V was a dude, but that's how they say. You was back in
Yeah.
those days, the pretty motherfuckers were just it was just but like she is a lovely lady, so folks. So
Thank you.
this is a tough sport, and especially you have a job working in the corporate world, and and that's good because you know what, it's the way. Because one thing is bodybuilding is not like a mainstream sport you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough where you get sponsorships, that's good. Some of the ladies this is what some ladies do, especially after the shows when y'all are, because I saw some pictures you posted when y'all shredded, y'all together. This is no offense, it's old Schmo Shane said when you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard. So it's good that you have your quick experience about your job and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, so honestly, and it's funny you say this because most people, like when I tell people I'm a bodybuilder, they're like, well, you're not the typical bodybuilder, because most bodybuilders just focus on bodybuilding and they work at a gym, they train some clients, but their whole life is bodybuilding. And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to change the narrative up a little bit. I want people to see that you can have a business. Like I have a business. I make human hair wigs for clients with alopecia and cancer. So I have that business. I've had that since 2019. And then I recently just got into the medical sales space. So I work in medical sales. So I oversee tons of medical facilities like VAs, clinics. For example, in Chicago, we have Rush Hospital Northwestern. My job is to go in and make sure that they're, equipped with all their medical equipment, literally anything you could think of in a medical space, I would sell to them. So I work in the medical sales space, but before that, right after I finished grad school, I did work in the telesales space. So I was working for Verizon where I sold tech services and things like that. So I've always worked in sales. Again, I feel like being that competitive person that, was an athlete, sales is always one of those things. You're a go-getter. You got to go out, talk to people, and get things sold. So I am basically balancing that. And to be honest, right after nationals, my job flew me straight from Dallas to Laurel, Mississippi, where I went to the corporate office and did some trainings for a week straight. So yeah, I've been pretty busy, and anyone who's kept up with me during my prep on social media, they've seen me work. I worked in healthcare as well, so I was working overnights, both in the hospital space and in home care space. So I am like, when I say go-getter, I'm all the way go-getter, always busy, and I just want people to see you can literally do anything you want. You can do anything you put your mind to, and bodybuilding is one of those things I'm really focusing a lot of time on, but I'm still learning to balance my corporate life and my business too.
That's good. It inspire you. You gotta be admired by that. Woman wants to work hard. Cause I know quite a few ladies who work who's in bodybuilding, who works as nurses, doctors,
Yes.
healthcare, assistants. It's just a lot. And like I said, thank you for your service as a healthcare person and stuff you were doing with the people with hair and alopecia. That's really appreciated because that really makes, especially for women, because hair, especially in the Black community, hair is very
Yeah.
almost important. My hair is about thin like this. It used to be poof, but now I'm getting older, it's starting to lose a little bit of it. But yeah, it's good that you have this great career and you have support of your family and your friends. Both you and your sister. What was that like when you told your parents that, hey, I'm going to go follow Big Six's footsteps?
They weren't really surprised, to be honest. Like my whole existence, my sisters, I have two sisters. I have one, her name's Shannon, and then one named Jacqueline. They were great role models. My sister Jacqueline has her own hair salon back home in Iowa. She's thriving. She's been her own businesswoman. She's never worked corporate, I believe. She's always had her business and thrived since. And my sister Shannon, she works in the corporate space. She's actually a director in the telesales space as well. And she also has her own business. She also has a nonprofit called No Defeat, where she works in the healthcare space. And like her, she went to college. She ran track and field. She was on scholarship as well. I did the same thing. It's like I looked up to her. I literally did everything she did. Started my own business, and I feel like I did that because her and my other sister. My other sister working in the hair and healthcare space too. She motivated me to get into like the wigs and like learning about different wig types and what that does for people with hair loss conditions and things like that. So Shannon has literally molded, I would say, me and my middle sister Jacqueline into who we are, because having an older sibling who is like Superwoman, it does nothing but set you up for success. I don't think I've ever seen my sister fail, and having that to look up to engraved in my head that anything I do, I'm not going to fail, because if my sister can do it, I can do it. And I know I just got to work hard. So my family is a huge support. My parents go above and beyond to support us any way they can. And I mean, we make them proud. And that's ultimately our goal, is to make my parents proud. And I feel like we're doing just that. So I'm happy with what I'm doing with my life and the people that I have in it right now.
That's good. That's good. You have a good support, because I know some ladies that sometimes they lost friends, they lost, because they didn't understand what they're getting into. Sometimes they're like I know a little lady told me, like, sometimes she couldn't go to the bars with a friend because she had to go to bed at 9 o'clock, so get ready and go work out like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and when it's so much to this, especially about the food part. How
Yeah.
food is both a weapon and a tool for a bodybuilder. Sometimes you have to like think about, if it's a big family event, and then you can't eat, like, especially it wasn't that long ago we had 4th of July, we had Thanksgiving, we got Christmas coming up, and with Christmas now you can go eat what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work to this, being a bodybuilder. We had here, this is from man Tony97. He got a comment for you. He says, has anyone compared you to Marvelous Margie? You look like a younger version of her. And shout out to Marvelous Margie V. Martin. Big fan of her. One of amazing lady, multiple time Olympic competitor. Also, we have here, how do people react to you as a chocolate woman with muscular development? That's from KL the Wanderer. So when you're out and about, what kind of looks you get? Because like I said, you are a beautiful woman. I'm not gonna
Thank
lie about that.
you.
Yeah, no, don't thank me. See, I'm a Southern gentleman, man, and it's my honor and pleasure to tell a woman that she's beautiful, especially a lady like yourself. That's how we are. But yeah, I know with some people reaction, especially when we're in the sport of bodybuilding, even if you're not in like the more extreme divisions like physique or bodybuilding, even women figure or even even bikini girls now, where
Yeah.
they get to the level where they get the little like
Yeah, no. I've always been like muscular. I, I was a track and field athlete, so in college I honestly was muscular and in shape, but not to this extent. And when I started working out at my gyms and started transforming and people seeing me get really cut up, I always made sure I designated 3 hours for the gym, because at least one of those 3 hours was me talking to people, because people would come up to me like, oh my God, they'd ask if I'm a personal trainer, or they'd ask if I'm a bodybuilder, or they'll ask like, how did you get your body like this? Like, people are intrigued. I love it because it shows like, okay, people are seeing my hard work, especially people that saw me in the gym before I got super cut up months later. So they know I'm putting in the work. They're seeing me do it. But it can kind of be a little crazy. Like, honestly, during the last couple of weeks of prep, I wasn't in the mood to talk to people. And it was really hard going to the gym because people wanted to. I'm a friendly person. I love talking to people, and people know that. So they would want to come up and talk. And honestly, I would look like a zombie because I'd go working an overnight. I'd work 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. and go straight to the gym after that. And then people would try to talk. And I'm like, I want to talk, but I literally don't even have the energy to talk to you. Like it got to a point where people could pick up like, this girl's literally the last couple weeks and she looks like she's on her deathbed. Like, we should just let her marinate a little bit. And so people are always fascinated. Even right now in public, people are like, what do you do? Are you a pro athlete? Like, what do you do? But I'm used to it now. When I first got cut up, I was like, this is a lot. Like, it's a lot to take in. And like, I don't know, I feel like dating wise, like me looking like this hasn't stopped anything. I feel like if anything, it's gotten worse. More people are actually trying to like approach me in that way now. So I've never had
yeah.
before, and I definitely am not having issues now with that piece.
Well, there is guys, especially who are fans of women. Like I say, when I got into bodybuilding, I grew up around the era of like the Arnold Schwarzenegger era was ending. Lee Haney was growing up, and my older brother, who was playing football, used to get the muscle mags. I used to like the muscle mags. I grew up like one of the popular TV shows was coming up for us was like He-Man and Thundercats, and those were really popular shows, especially for us kids. And it's just that the look of a woman with muscle is just, it intrigues some people. Either they just are just like, wow. I mean, some people are like, wow, she's just something about is different. And right now we got a lot of guys here that are kind of excited because, like I said, she is a pretty woman. She has a great physique. If you look at her social media, folks, you can go over her social media, check out her pictures and stuff if you're interested. But guys, you know my rules, and also, just be respectful, all right? Because this is a lady here. And I know you guys, I know you purrs out there because I'm one of you. You get excited, you get excited when someone like her comes in and she is beautiful. But just be more calm. Don't be like a dog chasing cars, And yeah, it's very tough when you in life, especially sometimes relationships, like I said again, and just everything about being a bodybuilder. And we said again, the financial of it is tough, because like I said, you got your hair, your makeup, your suits, that's cost you right now, your travel expenses, this and that. And it's a poor man's sport, but I feel like it should be more for you competitors. Like, what would you like to see for yourself in this sport?
Like in regards to like getting partnerships and stuff like that and that nature.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of already have a few sponsorships that I already had when I first started. So I have a suit sponsor, Andy B Bikinis. She's awesome. It's a team, but they are awesome. They're the ones who got me that figure suit in the matter of 3 weeks before nationals, which, if you know, making suits take time. So I have an awesome suit sponsor already. With hair, I do my own hair and I clearly sell wigs. So that's never been like, hair is not the problem for me. And then I recently been working with Donna, and she's been doing great with my makeup. So for me, I do want to see maybe some more sponsorships in the future. You can never not have enough sponsorships. So, I've been using supplement companies, but I would love to see a supplement sponsorship and me working with a supplement company long term. I would love to see that for me in the future. One that fits for me, because I'm the type, I don't just use stuff and tell people it's good. Like, it needs to be good. I want to represent a brand that has good products, and that goes for everything. I want to represent a brand that stands for something great. So, of course, definitely want to see more partnerships for myself in the future, and sponsorships, of course. But I think I'm doing really good for me being amateur and having a few sponsorships already starting off, and then now being a pro. I've already had some great opportunities thrown at me, and it's only been a week. So, I'm excited to see what all ends up happening in 2024.
Well, I think when you see something they like, especially sponsors and a lot of these companies like, they really want to promote it. Especially when you get young, fresh new people coming into the sport. Keeps the sport going. We got here some questions from Balls Deep. I think he already answers. It says, "Do you want to do physique?" She's in the point. She's thinking about it, but I think she feels like she wants to figure it right now. Also, he says, who inspired her to be a FBB? As you know, he says her sister Shannon. Shout out to Shannon. And also, this is from Balls. He says, what music do you like to work out to in the gym? What's your favorite music? What you like to listen to when you're working out?
It has to be like, I listen to a lot of I like a lot of different genres. The only genre I'm not really like, this is what I want to listen to all the time, like country. I'm not like a big country music person.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm like I'm not opposed to it. There's some country songs I like. I'm like, oh, this is not bad, but I'm not gonna like go to the gym and be like, I need country now. Like, that, just no. If anything, like hip hop, R&B, I like pop music, anything with the fast beat, especially for cardio, because the thing I hate doing the most is cardio. So if it's fast beat and it can kind of get me bouncing and like wanting to do my cardio, I'll listen to anything. But my go-to is kind of like hip hop. That's my thing.
Yeah, I know when I used to go work out, I will go to, this is not everybody's favorite gym, especially bodybuilders, Planet Fitness. And yeah, I know. And funny thing, I know somebody was going to go to Planet Fitness. He shit on me about going there, but I know you to go.
I go to Planet Fitness. To be honest, like, people laugh at me. I trained at Planet Fitness for my whole prep was pretty much Planet Fitness and LA Fitness. I'm not opposed to it. I know a lot of people want you to go to a bodybuilder gym because there's more equipment, more opportunities and stuff, but I'm near downtown Chicago, and unless there's a gym I just don't know about, there's not many that have powerlifting equipment where I'm at. So like, I would have to drive to the suburbs for some of these gyms in Chicago to even have a powerlifting bodybuilding gym. And back in the day, like, a lot of these places didn't have all the equipment that we have now. Like, some of the greats were using equipment that we probably weren't even a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like as long as you can find a machine and build muscle, like, the goal is to build muscle. So I made it work. I used Planet Fitness religiously. I'm not against Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I need to go back. I have some stuff situation now. Like I said, I'm getting older. My shoulders. I used to use the bikes, especially with my knees. And so there's a couple of songs I will send to you later. You want to listen to, because I use those songs when I do my cardio and or my workouts, because like they really motivate, especially stuff in like, this is one I got with like a Rocky Balboa mix, like from like Rocky. That's the go to everybody. Rocky Balboa, yo, yeah. Rocky. Because one quote I like to say from the Rocky Balboa says, like, it's not, no matter how you can you hit, it's how you take the hits and keep moving forward. And sometimes I hit that little angel on my shoulder and says, "Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves ya." So we got here. This is from a man, Baldy, who says, she's sexy and swole as AF. Oh, you get guys excited. Also, salute to sis. Yeah, he says sexy chocolate. Yeah. Also, we got here from a man, Tony 97. Unfortunately, there aren't many Black women in bodybuilding scene. I think it's important to encourage Black ladies to try bodybuilding. Ones already in the industry need to be given more credit. Yeah, shout out to people like ladies who I like, Andrea Shaw, who was a fan of. Linda Murray, I got to meet my first bodybuilding show. I went to Savannah. People like Iris Kyle, Margie V. Martin, Mela Ash, Rochelle Boswell, who I met last year at a seminar. I mean, it's quite a few ladies. I think it's, like I said, it's still a sport that's maybe not as popular in our community compared to others like football, baseball, boxing. Those sports are really popular. But I think it's a fringe sport for people who are not into it, who don't understand it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for example, when I first started, I was like so into the wellness because that's where I started, and I only knew, like, as in like African American women, I only knew a handful of wellness African American women pros. And I'm, I can count them on my hands and that are competing, that are actively competing and in the scene right now. And so that's how I was excited. I'm like, okay, I'm an African American woman. I'm going to try to come into this bodybuilding scene and make a name for myself. Like, you saying that actually it brings up a point because every gym I've went to, I've always had someone say like I've never met a Black African American bodybuilder woman before, and I used to be like what, but like in reality, now that I think about it, like I don't see any other girls looking like me at my gyms or walking around normally, that look like me. So it made sense. But I definitely think, seeing more women like myself who aren't just your average bodybuilder who just focuses on bodybuilding 24/7, who has a corporate life, who has businesses, like who does the normal day-to-day that the average person does, seeing them being able to still do bodybuilding, I hope it encourages other women who, aren't scared to gain muscle mass, aren't scared to, show signs of masculinity, because that's another thing. A lot of women are too scared to look too masculine. And I was a personal trainer at one point, and one thing women would say is like, oh, I don't want to get too much muscle. I don't want to look manly. And it's like, no offense, but like most of the time I'm getting hit on by people that like me in my muscular state. Like, so it's weird to me whenever I hear a woman say that. I'm like, dude, like I get hit on by so many guys that like that I'm muscular and in shape. Like I wouldn't knock that too much because you'd be shocked. Like, so I'm not against it. And I never get offended when a girl says that to me, because it's like, if you enjoy being small and, looking average, that's fine. On the other hand, I like having muscle. I've been an athlete all my life. I love being able to show off that I worked my ass off on my body my whole life, whether it was track and field or bodybuilding. There's nothing that's not beautiful about muscle, a woman with muscle. And there's also nothing that's not beautiful about a woman who chooses to not work out. Like every body type is beautiful. Everyone's beautiful and everyone has their, their choices and opinions.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm from the South. Our women can be a little bit more full, a little thicker, a little healthier, but also, I've been a fan of women with muscle. I find it's something beautiful. It's like a form of art. It's like you're like your own artist, and you're taking your body's like an easel, and or you're like a sculpture, you're just chiseling the granite and just building the body. Like, and one of my other jobs, like I used to work around with women who wear high heels all day. It was called a booty club. And and those women were beautiful women. They all had different shapes and sizes. I have seen ladies who were strippers who had abdominals and muscles, because hey, you got to swing on that pole. It takes a lot of work.
And that's a sport now, though. Like pole dancing is a sport now. Like
I don't know. That was for the classic.
Yeah, people like do that. I never, again, see, I'm like learning stuff. Like I have friends who do it for exercise, like pole dancing. Had no clue.
Yeah, it's getting popular. You're not getting no ones out of it. But here, this is from a man. Balls even says she's from the east side of the Chi, because I think you can